Hi everyone. Today we're going to discuss about the continuity of the ER model. In that, we last class we discussed about various data model, conceptual, representational, and physical data model. In this session, we're going to discuss deeply on ER model. So in that ER model, there are three important components: one is entity, attribute, and relationship. That too we discussed. So let me discuss one by one here. So entity is the real world object. That we take an example of person or a particular thing or the particular like an employee. We can say the particular person is a entity. So the entity is an object which have the conceptual existence. So in that student will be taken example. Student will be an entity. It will be represented by using rectangle shape. So the entity set. So the entity is an object of entity type, particular type. The group of entity of the entity set, the group of entity of the same type, we can call it as entity set. For example, if a student is an entity, the number of students in the particular class are called entity set. So it will be represented by using like this, E1, E2, E3 are entities, and it is commonly called as entity set. And entity type. There are two types of entities there, strong entity and weak entity. The strong entity is a type of entity that has the attribute. So the strong entity does not depend on any other entity in the scheme. So it has a primary key attribute which helps to identify uniquely. It's represented by rectangle shape. So it does not depend on any other entity. The same while weak entity, if we take it as a type as a key attribute, but uniquely identify in each entity, but in the some entity type which have which key attributes can't be defined. So it depends on another entity. So without another entity, it cannot be run. So that kind of entity is called weak entity. That we take in an example like strong and weak entities, customer ID and customer name. These are all the attributes. A strong entity, loan. So the customer only borrows the loan. So the loan is an entity which depends on the customer. So it is represented by double rectangle shape. The relationship between the customer and the loan is borrows the loan. So the loan have unique attributes like loan number, and then date of loan. So like this. So we can represent those attributes and their the entity and their attributes like this in the diagram, ER diagram. So and another is attribute. So attributors are representing the entity. It's also called as a property. So for example, if you take a student as an entity, the roll number, name, marks, and class, subject, these are all the attributes of the particular student. And there are several attributes we discussed now. So key attribute means it's uniquely identify the each entity in the entity set is called a key entity. For example, roll number, which is uniquely identify the particular entire pupil, so it is a key attribute. Then composite attribute is a combination of many other sub attributes. Is called a composite attribute. For example, address. So address comprises of door number, street number, village, town, and state, and country, and pin code. Likewise, so it's a comprises of these sub attributes. So we can take address as an example for composite attribute. And multi-value attribute, sometimes the person have multiple values for the particular attribute. So for example, for phone number, the person can have multiple phone numbers. So we can represent by using double oval shape. And derived attribute, the value of that attribute is derived from some other attributes, means we can say it as a derived attribute. It normally represented by dashed lines. For example, with the help of the data birth, we can able to find the age of the particular person. And this is a complete entity type student with attributes, all kind of attributes represented here. And then relationship set means a relationship shows the association between the entities. So, for example, we take student and course. So, student enrolled a course in a particular course. So, here it shows the relationship between the student and courses as enrolled in. And cardinality is a term which is used to represent relationship type and relationship set. Set of relationship of the same type is we can call it as a relationship set. So here, like an example, the following set depicts S1 as enrolled in C2, CS2. So multiple, of course, these are all the group of relationship sets. Then degree of relationship is called relationship. Different other number of different entities participating in the relation is called a degree of relationship set. There are several relationships that are unary relationship. When only one entity is participating in set is called unary relationship. For example, one person married to the only one person. Likewise, degree of binary relationship is also there. Two type of entities are participating in the relationship. So normally, a student like enrolled a course for a particular course. So here, there are two entities are participating in the relationship. So it's an example for binary relationship. So NRA relationship also there. So a number of entities are participating in the relations. Okay. So let me have an example of that where we can call it as a cardinality. So number of times an entity is for a set of participating in a relationship set is called as a cardinality. So cardinality have a different types like one to many, many to one, many to many. So we can represent the relationship like this by using the cardinality number. When only one instance of an entity is associated means it's called one-to-one relationship. For example, people married to man. So here the cardinality is 1-1. Like a surgeon headed by the particular HOD is a example for this. The same thing for one-to-many relationship when one instant of n number of entity. For example, the scientist make can have scientist is only one person. He can invent more number of inventions. Likewise, one to many and many to one relationship. Like student can have multiple courses. Many students can enroll a particular course, like an NPTEL course. Likewise, multiple surgeries are made by the particular person. So it's an example of many to one. Then many to many relationship shows many employee may are assigned with many projects simultaneously. This is an example for many to many. So the participation is called like total participation is also there, partial participation is also there. So entirely, if the apply to entire entity participating in the relationship means called, we can say it as a full participation or total participation. If it is a partial, we can say it is a partial participation. These are all the notations to represent one to many, many to one, many to many, and other relationship. Thank you.